We are back with another video. If you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where I help new, aspiring and seasoned project managers level up their project management game. So if you're liking the sound of that, then definitely hit the subscribe button because these videos are going to be right up your street. So let's get started with today's topic. So as you guys may know, if you're used to watching my videos, you know that I'm a freelance project manager. So this video today is all about me giving you the best tips for freelancing as a project manager. So when you are jumping into a new role, whether you are, it's your first freelance role, these tips will see you through in each of your roles. So really grasp them, take hold of them, and I really hope that you find this video valuable. Okay, so let's jump straight in. Tip number one, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is always up to date. Now, the reason why I say this is because you are able to apply for roles, freelance roles, even perm roles to be fair, on LinkedIn. Now, this is where I find the majority of my roles, LinkedIn, okay? I can meet clients, recruiters on LinkedIn. Most of the time, these recruiters or companies directly are coming to me and checking my availability, asking me my day rate. So these companies are able to look at my profile and decipher from my profile whether they think I would be a good fit for their company for a particular project that they're working on, okay? So you want to make sure that you are keeping your LinkedIn profile up to date with all of the companies you've worked at, all of the projects you've worked on, your personal profile, keeping that up to date as you change sector or as your roles change and with the number of years experiences that you have. So you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Also, the amazing thing about LinkedIn is that previous employees, clients can write a recommendation and endorse you. Okay, so always ask at the end of a contract for that particular company, the person that hired you or whoever in that company you worked with, to leave a recommendation on your profile. Sometimes companies might actually hire you without even needing to interview you. They might just want to pencil you in straight away because they like the sound of your profile. So make sure your LinkedIn profile is kept up to date. Tip number two, so I kind of touched on this already in tip number one, but it is to make sure that you are asking for recommendations. This is going to help new companies who are just hunting for a freelancer. They're desperate for a project manager. It's going to help them make a decision on you much faster than if someone just applied for the role and didn't even have any recommendations. That will stand you out in the crowd of other project managers, especially if you have fantastic statements written about you. It's always great. And it's also it boosts your confidence as well. So when you are applying for roles and they look at your profile, yeah, I'm looking the part, it makes you feel really confident. So make sure you're doing that. Work with a standard of excellence and always be enthusiastic. I feel like these 2 points are kind of can be combined into one, because when you are really enthusiastic about helping on a particular project, or if, for example, the workload is quite light and you're freelancing, but you're enthusiastic all the time about helping out on different things, you're offering your advice on different scenarios, for example. When you're in a role when it is busy, on the other hand, and you have multiple projects to work towards, and you are managing them well because you are super organized. You've got your project status sheet. You might call it something different in different companies, but you are really clear on what the next steps are in the project. People will notice that, especially if you're new. And these are the kind of things that people love to see, because everyone is looking for a freelancer at one point or another. So you want to just always be at the front of somebody's mind, that you want to, when they see your name, you want them to think, that is an amazing project manager. I want to work with her again. Or, maybe you want to go perm. Maybe you want to go perm. Maybe you want to go perm. They might offer you an opportunity at the end of that contract to go perm. I've been offered a perm role in a lot of the roles that I have freelanced at. I have always turned them down because you're just not going to be paying me as much as if I was as being freelance. That's just it. For me, it's a money thing. It's a money thing. And I've worked at some fantastic companies, and I don't want my morale to go down because I'm not being paid the same as I normally am, because let's just be real, these things happen, okay? Your name is key as a freelancer. You are representing your own brand. You are your brand, essentially. So you just want to make sure that when someone says your name, that they think, yes, that is an amazing project manager. So just a level of excellence is just adding value, like making sure that you arrive on time to your meetings, making sure that you are delivering these projects on time, with a level of excellence, over communicating to your project team, holding these meetings with confidence, making sure that every aspect of your project is clearly documented so that you know what all the next steps are. If somebody asks you a question, then it's like, yes, you know the answer to it. When you're in a status update, and one of the other team members are asking you a question about your projects, you were the first one to be like, yep, this is what's happening with that, and this is the next step, this is what we're aiming towards, and it's going to be done by this particular date. So just keeping on top of everything. Be open to learning new ways of working and fast. So whenever you're in a new freelance role, you are learning a new process, you are learning about different systems and softwares, etc. So you may not have worked on, for example, Monday.com. You may be used to working on Trello as your project management tool. So you might have to learn Monday.com, it's just how it is as a freelancer. So you want to learn these things fast. So document everything. This is what I always do. Whenever I start a new role and I'm learning a new way of working, I like to write things down on my notepad, and then I refer back to it. You may then be in a position to help other starters when they are new and joining the company. So for example, one of my recent contracts, I had to learn how to deliver a particular type of project. After I learned the process, a couple of new starters began the role after myself. So I then had to work with them to help them to deliver their projects also. So it really helps when you're able to add value to the company by taking on elements of training other people, other new starters. It just sets you apart, and those people that you are training will also remember you for being really helpful. Next tip is to be accountable. If you make a mistake, own up to it. I think the worst thing you want to do, just for your own reputation, is to deny or lie about a project. Like if you make a mistake as a freelancer, own up to it. It's okay. It is not the end of the world. You will be hired again. Don't ever for a second think that if you make a mistake or your contract ends early because it's terminated because of something that you did, that is the end of the world and you're never going to be hired again. Like, do not ever feel that way. So for me, the mistake that I made was I sent an email to a client that was supposed to go to an agency. I still worked at the company on a couple of other projects, so it wasn't like the end of the world. My contract came to an end. It was an end, so it's all good. I've worked at multiple contracts after that. So if you make a mistake on a project, just please do not beat yourself up. Be accountable and own up to your mistake. The final tip is to offer your knowledge. I have found that a lot of the issues that are occurring in one company has already occurred in another company, or another company I worked at in the past were excellent at status calls with their project management teams, and a new company that I'm working with, they're struggling to understand or to know exactly what the resources are working on because they don't always keep the project manager up to date. Different companies manage projects differently. So you are going to have, especially if you're a seasoned project manager, seasoned freelance project manager, you are going to have a wide array of knowledge. So always offer that knowledge. In one of my contracts, one of the project managers were asking if anyone has worked with a agency that specializes in AR and VR. And I have. So most recently, actually, my most recent project, which ended Friday. So I recommended that agency to the company. So always offer your knowledge. It's like you have such a wide range of experiences and knowledge, and there's issues that always arise. You might even hold the answer to the problem. So you always want to be remembered as somebody who adds value. So remember, you're representing yourself as a freelancer because you are self-employed. So you want to be adding value so that you are remembered. The more you add value, the more you are enthusiastic, the more that you work with a level of excellence in everything that you do when it comes to your projects, right, is the more you will be recommended. I'll give you an example. So this is crazy, right? I worked on 2 contracts simultaneously. So I started one contract in the early morning. They were based in Dubai. So I started work at 5 a.m. and I finished at 9. And I started my second contract at 9:30 and finished at 6. So the reason why I did that was because I really wanted to gain experience in the tech sector. So the most recent contract I had that ended on Friday was a contract where the company specialized in lenses, like really awesome VR and AR lenses for Snapchat, right? I was recommended for that role. So I received a random email, and I was very much like, dubious about it actually initially, because I was thinking, who are you people? So after doing a bit of research, I thought, wow, they're actually a really cool agency. And I was recommended for that role. And that role wasn't even my main role at the end of the day. It was a part-time role that I took on, which enabled me to make extra money part-time whilst freelancing at another company. So you just never know what opportunities may lay ahead. So always work with a level of excellence, because if you're recommended for a role, then that's amazing, because then the hard work is done for you. You don't have to be, slugging away and applying and so forth and sharing your CV and waiting and all that kind of stuff, having interviews and, so yeah. Always work towards a level of excellence, because you never know when you're going to be out of a contract, and when boom, someone out of nowhere just says, yes, I'd like to bring you on my team as a freelancer for 3 months, 4 months, whatever. So I hope you found those tips really valuable. If you did, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please feel free to ask me any question that you may have. I want to be able to respond back to your question with a video. It'll really help me tailor my content, and so that all the videos that I'm creating essentially are really, really benefiting you guys. So yeah, please like, please subscribe. Have a lovely day, and I will speak to you in my next video.